Hi everyone, it's Michelle Mira, and today I want to talk about how to reverse a downward spiral. I think we've all experienced at some point in our life downward spiraling, things getting out of control, negative things happening one after another, and feeling like we can't get out of it. So my husband was just telling me about a story about an MMA fighter that was on a winning streak. He, had no losses, was just consistently the champion. And then he got knocked out once. And he said, it's okay. It's just once, I'm coming back. It's not even going to faze me, sort of thing. And then he got knocked out again. And after the fourth time, he decided that he wanted to retire. And what happens so often is that one event will happen. Say you get laid off, and you might even feel like it's unjustified, like you're set up, and you get laid off unexpectedly, and then you find yourself doubting, and then you go to new job interviews, and you have that little bit of doubt, that little bit of question in there about your worth and, what happened. And you kind of get in this loop of wondering if it is something that you did, if you could have done something differently. And so then you take that into your interviews and you don't get the job. So then you go to another interview. You have a little more doubt because maybe it is you. Now, look, you can't even get a new job. You go to another one, and now you've got this neediness in there because, this is tied in with your self-worth and how you value yourself, how you feel about yourself on every level, because it's you've looped so much into this doubt. And so you don't get that interview. They can feel the neediness. They can almost smell it on you. So one interview after another is just a failure piling up, another failure. And it almost gives you proof that what you're doubting is real, and now it must be you. And then you start looking at your finances, and you can't do the things that make you feel good. And so then that's another failure. You feel stuck, you feel trapped. And then before you know it, you're sick. And now you're sick and you can't go to interviews. There's nothing you can do to change it, and you feel absolutely hopeless. You get depressed. It's the downward spiral. And I think we all can relate to that with different situations in our lives. So what's actually happening here? When we have one big failure that knocks us down, it can shock our system. It can subliminally trigger something that was similar to that in our past. And so we'll automatically go into, okay, when that happened before, this happened next, and it was really bad, and I've been trying to avoid that my whole life, sort of thing. So then we start doubting, and we start doubting ourselves, and we start asking the wrong questions. So we start asking, why is this happening to me? What is wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And so when we're asking these questions, we're going to start getting answers to those questions. What did I do wrong? Here's what you did wrong. Oh, I'm a bad person. Now, I've done this, and now I don't have money. I'm a bad person, and what am I doing wrong? And so then it's just focusing on all this negativity, and it's creating more of that because you're asking the questions. And so the answers are coming on where you feel like you're flawed. So there's a couple of things that, then after that, the other thing that happens is when we're asking the questions and we're getting those answers, then we start looking at our results right now. And we look at the results that we don't like, and we form a story around that. And it's almost like we find proof that this isn't working, and we find proof that something's wrong with us. And so then all these questions are backing up, we're finding proof that they're actually valid questions and valid concerns, and there's something wrong with us. We have to fix it. And it's just this, it's a horrible cycle to get into, and it gives you the feeling that you can't get out of it. And that's why we call it the downward spiral. So let's talk about what we can do to break out of that. Because if at the beginning of, both of these stories, if they have been able to, rather than go into doubt, if they have been able to shift it right away, they could have raised their frequency back up. And their frequency, rather than matching negative experiences, more negative proof, would have been matching positive proof. It would have been matching positive effects. And so you can see how it can go up, it can go down. So when something happens that knocks us for a loop, the best thing that we can do, the first thing that we can do is go, okay, kind of take inventory. This is what's happened. I've been knocked down, and it's knocked me for a loop. And just stopping at that point and being aware of any doubt thoughts that are coming in at that point. And if we can just breathe through that and let those doubt thoughts flow through, and we can just sit with the disappointment and the shock of it and let that flow through, and try to just let it process and move through rather than grabbing onto it and grabbing onto those doubt thoughts. So that's the first thing we can do, is just become aware of what our thoughts are doing at that point. And then we can consciously ask questions that are going to lead us in a direction that we want to go. And because when we're looking back and continuously going over this failure, the questions come up around the failure. But if we start looking forward, then we can come up with questions that take us where we want to go. So rather than, why is this happening? How horrible is this? What's wrong with me? Those questions, we can ask, okay, where can we go from here? And how good can this story get? And we can ask ourselves, can I open to what's happening? Can I open my heart right now to what is happening now and find a solution to move forward in a positive story? How can this story get better in a positive way? And when we ask questions like that, how am I meant to serve now? When we ask those questions, that fear can fall away and we can actually get creative. And our universe can answer those questions and doors can open up. And so immediately after that, what I like to do is go into gratitude of what I have now. So I've asked these questions. You've asked the questions about how good can this get? How beautiful can this story get now? How am I meant to serve now? Then stop and look and find everything that you have right now to be grateful for, because that builds the truth and the proof of what you do have and what is beautiful and what is positive. And that starts creating an immediate upward spiral. So you just stop and look around. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful for a healthy body. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for, just look around you and find things. You will find them. And that's the proof. And you just build on that. And it doesn't take long to start creating this upward spiral. I believe Abraham Hicks talks about it takes 17 seconds to create a new upward movement. So you ask the questions that take you into the future, into a more open, beautiful story. How good can it get? I love that one. And how can I serve right now? That's another one that opens up doors for you. And then find gratitude. Find things to be grateful for. And when you notice that you're looking back, come back to this moment and find things to be grateful for. And from there, another exercise that's very quick and easy that you can do is just stop and breathe deeply. And I like to just take my hands and just open my hands to symbolize letting go. Just letting go and breathe into that. And imagine yourself just leaning back, just sitting back. Imagine you're in a kayak and you've been just going, rowing, and you just stop and you just lean back and you just let go and you just let the water take you for a while. Just let it lead you. And just stop trying to fight it. Another thing that happens in a downward spiral is we try and kick in our willpower and we try to do more and we're trying to fight. We're trying to fight against the change that's wanting to happen. And a lot of times when something hits us, knocks us off our track, knocks us off our feet, it's because it's time for a change. Maybe we have grown out of this situation and it's knocking us out quickly, like ripping the Band-Aid off. And we feel like we're not ready. We grab onto it because it's familiar. And if we could actually sit back and see it, we can see that we have grown into something bigger. We've grown into something and we're ready for an opportunity that's even bigger than the one that we've been in. And a lot of times, if we really get honest with ourselves, we might find that we've actually been bored with this situation for quite a while. And we've actually been secretly desiring a bigger opportunity. And that doesn't mean that it's not scary when we get knocked off our feet and when it changes. But when we can breathe and let go and lean back and allow the change to happen, then peace can come in. And then we can find that we move into a bigger, better, more beautiful situation very quickly, very seamlessly, and effortlessly. It's when we're holding on and we're scared and we're trying to willpower our way to stay in the situation that we feel suffering and we downward spiral because we start judging ourselves for getting knocked off. And it's hardly ever us. And we're hardly ever really in control of things. And when we can just keep letting go and keep surrendering and flowing, then we can get into our dharma. We can get into our destiny and into that purpose of where we're meant to be. And that's the life of peace. And I know how painful and hard a downward spiral can be. I've had so many in my life that scared the crap out of me. And I don't believe that it's about ignoring that panic or that fear. I think it's about acknowledging it and being able to find what we do have, find the gratitude, look forward, and then let go and release into that. So I hope this has been helpful, and please comment, share your experience with this, and go to my blog at michellemira.com. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope that we just have more upward spirals. See you tomorrow.